Hello and welcome to BobCAD-CAM webinar. You guys should be able to see my screen right now. Before we get started, I see there's one person right now on the webinar. If you want to write down, if you can hear me, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, we have two people now, so we're getting people as we get started. Okay, so today we're going to cover our toolpaths. Our three-axis toolpaths, how to manage surfaces, how to best approach cutting different types of parts. So we have two different ways of cutting parts. We have three-axis Pro, which it's going to be this here. And we have three-axis Premium, which is going to be this kind of toolpath. So we're going to get started with three-axis Pro. To access your three-axis Pro, you're going to right-click right here, and then we're going to press three-axis. And the strategies that apply for three-axis Pro are going to be these ones: advanced roughing, flatlands, equidistance offset, pencil, advanced planar, project curves, Z-level finish, and those are our three-axis Pro. Steep and shallow, it's going to be part of John. Thank you so much for letting me know that you can hear me. Steep and shallow is going to be part of our premium. So first, we're going to start with our roughing operation. It's very important to understand the different patterns that you can apply to roughing. So we got offset, offset in, morph spiral, parallel, and advanced roughing. So the two that I will pay attention the most will be morph spiral and advanced roughing. So out of the people that I have here on the webinar, how many of you have used BobCAD before? Have you used BobCAD before? Are you using like the current version, older versions? Have you seen this morph spiral functionality? Okay. No answers yet, but while we go, morph spiral, what's going to do is it's going to eliminate that linking between paths, and it's going to morph between. Okay, V32, perfect, John. Thank you for participating. It's going to follow the shape, adapting to it, and eliminating that linking. So when you rough, you won't have that marking connecting each path. So if you're cutting softer materials, this will be a really good way of roughing and eliminating those linking. Advanced roughing, in the other hand, it's going to do a circular motion. So when we do this, we're going to be able to go deeper, faster. And now we included the ability to do roughing based on volume toolpaths. So basically what this is going to do, it's going to go cut faster here than it will be cutting here. It will be changing the feed rate dynamically to make sure that you're always cutting as fast as possible. Then we got rest roughing. So we got roughing, then we got rest roughing. And one of the things that rest roughing does is it's gonna cut only what is necessary. But something that you're gonna notice, it's got a lot of retractions. You see them? So we have a lot of retractions. So one of the things that we included on the system that is very important is the advanced interface. How many of you here are familiar or have seen the advanced interface? Why is this important? For years, our main concern with BobCAD has been to make sure that it's very simple. It's simplified. So we always kept the UI, that standard UI, very basic with the pictures and just press next and follow the steps. But when you press on advanced UI, this is how it's going to look. If any of you today have used MasterCAM or any other CAM system, you probably are more like have seen this interface before. So this interface basically is everything that Bobcat could offer, but we normally hide this on prior versions of Bobcat. We hide this to keep the system simple. But for power users, people that use Bobcat all the time, now we gave the customer the ability to pick if they want to use the standard UI or if they want to use the advanced UI. So where this is different is that you have more control over everything. You have control over the machining surfaces. You got uh, control under how do you want to do your rest roughing operations. You are able to do 2D containment or even 3D containment. You have the ability to do undercuts even on roughing operations, which is something that you normally only have available on the Z-level finish on your finishing operations. You For this feature in particular, you have linking. This page you normally don't have access on prior versions. And what this allows you to do is determine how do you want to link between toolpaths on different scenarios. So what this means is like between slices, how do you want to link? So instead of retracting to linking area, we're going to just retract to rapid. Between regions, we're gonna do rapid. Again, we can do rapid distance. Between slices, I think we can actually do a blend spline, which will be better. Between groups, we're gonna do rapid distance. So by doing this, pressing OK, finish, we're going to recompute our toolpath. So we have the same toolpath, we're roughing the same area, but we have a lot more control of our retractions and how to manage them. So again, we're not going to be having any collisions here, but when we're connecting between two areas, now it's going to connect down here instead of going up every single time. It's just going to go up whenever we need it to go up. We have a collision here, so I'm going to show you guys something new. We set up this as our holder. So this is going to be we're going to go to 3D home and we're going to pick by color. I'm going to pick everything that is gray. Okay, so now that this is our holder right here, I'm going to tell the system to, in the standard UI, we're going to use options here. No, I think it's in parameters. We're going to do an advanced allowance. And we're going to tell the system to use the fixture. And we're going to be 1.5 millimeters from the fixture. So we're going to do that. Okay. Finish. Recompute the toolpath. And you'll see how let me do an advanced roughing operation. Make sure that we're using the advanced. Finish, recompute. So we have the same. Also, something you're going to notice, the time it takes to do our toolpath, it's actually pretty fast compared to prior versions. So again, we have less retractions and we are removing those collisions. Now, any questions about the roughing operation and the advanced interface? Do we have any questions? Anything in particular you'd like me to go over about the advanced interface before we move on? Okay, no questions. Let's move to the equidistance. Okay, something we added to the Equidistance that is very important is the ability to change feed rates. So when you go into Equidistance, now we're going to have an option to do corner slowdown. And I'm going to change this to 30%, finish, and I'm going to recompute my toolpath. So what's going to happen here is now that I added that feature to the Equidistance, as we get closer to the corner, let's do a backplot around here. I think this is a good spot there. Notice that the feed rate, it's at 172. Now, as we get closer to the corner, you're going to see how the system is going to start decelerating gradually until we get to that corner at 54. And then we're going to accelerate gradually coming out of the operation. How is this going to help? The way it's going to help is now you can run a lot faster on your open areas. And when you have a direction change, the system will decelerate, but it will decelerate gradually instead of just doing it from one moment to another. So you, compared to prior versions, you will probably be able to cut this twice as fast because you can run the fastest feed rate possible for that tool and material. Is that clear? Everybody's got it with the Equidistance? Remember that ideally for this webinars is to answer your questions and help you understand anything you guys need. So feel free to just write anything on the chat. I'll be able to go over it and cover whatever you guys need. Okay, looks like we're good with this. Let's move on the difference between Pro and Premium. So this part, I like to show this part because it not only has changes on the surface, it has changes on the direction. So it changes here and it changes here. If we do a slice planer, you can go back and forth. You can actually change all the different, let's go. Oh, this is new. You can do optimal machine angle and the system will try to find the optimal, but we can do 0 degrees. We can do 45 degrees. So let's go recompute the toolpath there. So notice it starts on one direction, but then it changes. And then we had to actually work on different stepovers to adapt to the part. We can do also equidistance, but the problem with the equidistance is we're going to have this little areas. Can you see it? So again, we have the direction changes and those markings will be shown on your final part. So where the system makes a difference is the way it adapts. When you're cutting with Premium, you're going to right click right here. We're going to do multi-axis and you're going to have access to all these surface toolpaths. So pretty much you have access to do all the multi-axis toolpaths that you normally have for multi-axis, but for your 3-axis programming. That's what the Premium does for you. So you got parallel cuts, you got along the curve. This is pretty awesome because you can create a wireframe and have the system follow the wireframe shape. You have morph between two curves, parallel to multiple curves, project, morph between two surfaces, parallel to surfaces, and flow line. So the way this works is that you pick how you're gonna cut, define the cutter, then we're gonna define our surface. So let's say we're gonna do this surface right here. Press OK. Then we're gonna tell the system that we're going to extend our toolpath 50% of the tool. Then we're going to go into a 3-axis operation. Next, we're going to compute that toolpath. And let me share, let's flow line. Along the short side or U direction, V direction. Compute toolpath. Did I? Yeah. There it is. So it will adapt to the surface as it goes through the shape. Now you can use, the thing about the flow line is that it adapts to one specific surface. In this case, we don't want to use flow line. We're going to use morph between two curves. So let's go into that. Just give me one sec. Remove, delete. Yes. So for that, we're going to right click right here, multi-axis, and we're going to do morph between two curves. The first curve we're going to pick is this one. Here's the chain. Oh, I just want to do the first plane. So let's remove the automatic chaining. Let's do just this one there. That's our number one chain. There is confirm. Now our second chain, it's going to be this one. Gonna make sure the chain is going, and let's make sure that it's going on the same direction. There is confirm. And now we're gonna pick our drive surfaces, which are gonna be this one, this one, this one. Confirm. And we're going to follow the shape, imperfect. We're gonna go one way. And this is gonna be a 3-axis toolpath operation, and we're going to compute. Okay, so notice, I didn't extend the toolpath. Let's extend the toolpath so it goes beyond our shape. Extend. And we're gonna go 50% of the tool and recompute. There it is. So notice how it adapts perfectly to the shape of the surface, and it will follow it throughout the whole operation. And this is very important, how it blends between the two surfaces. Can you see that? So it's very, very difficult to get this result with the Pro Toolpath. Nearly impossible. Is this clear for everybody? Everybody understands what's going on here? Everybody's good with this? Okay, looks like we are good. Perfect. Now, are you guys familiar with barrel tools? Barrel tools? Okay, barrel tools. That's another big differentiator for our premium toolpaths. So if we were to finish the walls using a Z-level finish operation, we'll probably use a ball and mill, which let's do a simulation here. Progress there. So the thing about a ball and mill is that the amount of surface that we're able to cut per step, it's very small. So we have to increase our step over, like have a higher step over, and adapt it to be smaller when we need it to be. So this is what a ball and mill will be able to do. What a barrel tool does, we're able to do the same wall with less steps. How do we accomplish this? So instead of, let's parallel to surface. Instead of using our normal tools, we're using a barrel tool. And what's going to happen is the amount of surface that we're going to be able to touch per step, it's going to be a lot more than what we normally are able to do with the ball and mill. So you can pretty much finalize the same wall with less steps. Again, this is on what the toolpath is going to do, on what the premium is going to do. It's going to allow you to offset for this kind of tools. Okay, so when you get to the premium toolpath, to the premium level, you have access to load barrel tools and to offset for the barrel tools. Now, when it comes to the result, there's another reason why the premium toolpaths can make a difference. So here, we're looking at a equidistance offset on the left-hand side. It does a really good job. You can see it. And then we have a Z-level toolpath between two curves on the right-hand side. So they look very similar, but there's a difference. So let's do this one and this one at the same time. So the way the toolpath on the left-hand side, which is the equidistance offset, it's calculated is the following. This surface right here in the background is transformed into a mesh. And the toolpath is generated from a mesh. Does that make sense? So in order to have a perfect finish, you have to actually work with your tolerances to make sure that you're getting what you're looking for. When you're programming from the premium toolpaths, the toolpath is being generated from the surface. So I don't know if this is coming across clearly enough. Like, this is working from the surface. This is turning the surface into a mesh, and from the mesh generating the toolpath. So when you look at them side by side, there's these little areas right here that if you look at the programming process or at the actual result that we ran, let me show you. You can, like, both finishes are good, but you can see the small differences on the Pro and the Premium. Has anybody on the chat today experienced something like on the left hand side, like you program a part and you got like little areas that you needed to clean up, or you had to adjust your tolerances? Has that happened to you before? Okay, so this is one of the main reasons Premium is going to make a difference. Is at the end of the day, the amount of work. Okay, Robbie, so that has happened to you. Thanks for participating. The amount of work you're going to have to do after the part is done, it's going to be less. And how does that make a difference? Like, maybe if you're polishing, you scrap a little bit of tolerance more than you needed to polish, and then you have to scrap the whole material. So the better finish you get from your machine, the less possibility of having to scrap your material you're going to have. So that's what Premium brings to the table. It's a cleaner toolpath because it's working from the surface, not from the mesh. Again, not to say that the equidistance toolpath it gives you a bad result. It's a good result, but you have to play with your tolerances. It's not always going to be perfect. While you know that you're working from, when you're working from Premium, you're working from the surface. And actually, we do have another difference that is important. So let's take a look at this demo part. Dun, dun, dun. 3D milling. I like this one. This is another good example of a premium toolpath. So again, we can do a slice planer and adjust our step over to make sure that we are able to cover these surface changes. But it's never going to look as clean as a flow line cutting. Here's the flow line cutting process. And it's not that the step over is getting smaller. This is very important. It's just that it's using the cusp height. It's not changing your step over. If we get closer, you see the step over is the same. It's just, if you look at my hands, it's just placing the toolpath above the other one. So it's using the cusp height of the surface to place the position instead of just setting up a step over. Does that make sense? So when we're setting up our toolpath right here in parameters, so you got maximum step over and then you have your cusp height. So that's a difference that you're applying to this kind of toolpath. Because of that, you're going to be able to adapt to a surface like this a lot better than doing it from the, let's say, the equidistance offset. So here's the equidistance on it there. And again, you're going to be able to notice it on your simulation. Let's run only the roughing and the equidistance. This is the equidistance I have. No, this one. This one. And let's run the simulation. Where's my water? Let's go into the equidistance and run the result. And let's remove the toolpath. So again, let's wait until it loads. This is what I'm talking about. Can you see it? Right here. So it's not a bad toolpath. The problem is those little markings you're gonna see on your finish, like Robbie brought up, like it's gonna happen. Now let's run the same simulation using our flow line cutting. So let's close our simulation. Let's remove this one and let's go back into our flow line and run the simulation. Toolpath. And then we're gonna come back here to that same area. Can you see the difference between the two toolpaths? And you can see that throughout the whole, we're keeping that distance always the same, but adapting to these changes a lot better that we will be able to do using our Pro toolpaths. Okay, perfect. Now we also have, I think what I wanted you guys to get out of this this webinar is that there are toolpaths that apply better or best to different scenarios. So it's not like flow line, it's going to be the answer to everything, or morph between two surfaces is going to be the answer to everything. Like, let's say this toolpath, this part in particular, doing it with surface toolpaths, it's going to be challenging because it's got so many surfaces, you know? So in this case, it'll be better to just do a roughing, and then probably do an equidistance. This equidistance will be actually a really good option for this kind of toolpath, this kind of part. So again, just because premium will do a better job on the finishing, it doesn't mean that it will be the best toolpath or the best toolpath options for everything you're cutting. If I'm cutting a cavity that has several surfaces and different shapes, the best bet I'm gonna get or the best result I'm gonna get, it's gonna be from my equidistance offset. And now that you have that feed rate control for the corners, the result that you're gonna get it's gonna be much better because you will be able to run faster on your broad areas and just slow down when it's necessary. We got our Z level finish. You can see that. So that one does not apply well to these areas. You got your slice planer. And here you have to run a very small step over on different areas. And then we got a steep and shallow. I like this one. Steep and shallow gives you the ability to pick two different toolpaths, and it's part of the premium area. Let me show you guys. So you can do Z-level finish and a slice planer, or you can do Z-level finish with equidistance. You define an angle limit so the system knows where to do the planar or where to do the equidistance and where to do the Z-level finish. So at this point, we're doing 45 degrees. So everything that is within this 45-degree range will be done with the Z-level finish. So the walls and the vertical areas will be done with the Z-level finish. And the more planar areas will be done with the equidistance or the slice planar. So again, this is very helpful because you can combine two different toolpaths to better finish a part. This is again part of the premium set. So you are able to set up your step over for both cuts, for a step down and the step over. So step down will be for your Z-level finish, and depth per cut step over will be for your planar or your equidistant, and depth per cut will be for your C-level finish. You set up your allowances, and then we're going to finish. So as you can see, we apply equidistance here. Then we did Z-level finish right here, and then we come back to equidistance in the bottom. So we're using three different toolpaths in just one part, and the system is predefining when to use each one. So instead of using just equidistance for everything, you can apply the Z-level finish for the walls and the equidistance in the bottom and the top. So you do have that level of control when applying the steep and shallow options. Anybody familiar or have ever used the steep and shallow before on your BobCAD? Okay, perfect. Okay, guys, so we were able to cover all the toolpaths, the differences between the results, how an actual part will look when it's finished, why it will adapt better to surfaces, how the system it's able to do better now on the latest versions with corner slowdown, and the ability to also follow. Most importantly, I think that's what makes it special. It's being able to follow the actual surface, like you see here. Any questions? Anything in particular you'd like me to go over about the premium toolpaths and the advanced interface? No questions? Okay, so guys, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, you like this webinar. Um, Before we go, I'd like to ask you guys that attended the webinar, what would you like us to go over next? What would you like to learn about our system? Would you like us to go over lathe, mill turn, multi-axis, maybe do a little bit of like a Q&A questions that you guys may have? Just put it on the chat. Let us know what you want to learn. Anything in particular you like us to go over? Okay. Perfect. Okay. John, Robbie, the ones that participated, thank you so much. Everybody else, thank you for joining us today. We went over everything that has to do with premium. Anything you guys need, let us know. We're here to help you, and have an amazing day. Thank you, and see you on the next one. That's going to be on the 17th. Thank you, and see you on the 17th. You too, John. It's worth it. It's worth upgrading, John. Um, the money that you're gonna save, it's going to make a difference. Okay. See you guys.